I thought I was alone in the school that night until something started following my footsteps. I used to stay late at school all the time. It wasn't unusual for me. Honestly, I kinda liked it. The quiet, the empty halls, the feeling of having the whole place to myself. But after what happened one night in 1996, I never stayed alone again. My name is Thomas Bell. Back then, I had just moved to a small town in Pennsylvania and started working as a fourth grade teacher at a local elementary school. It was different from what I used to. Before that, I worked in a bigger district. More people, more noise, constant movement. This place was the opposite. Smaller, quieter, older. Not in a bad way, but still. The building had that typical old school feel. Wooden floors that cracked when you walked. Pipes that made knocking sounds in the walls. Lights that hummed softly overhead. At the time, I didn't think much of it. Just part of working in an older place. And since I was new, I was trying to fit in. So when the Harvest Festival was coming up, I volunteered to stay late and help with the decorations. It seemed simple enough. And for the first few days, it was. I'd stay after everyone left, work for a couple of hours, and head home. No issues, no weirdness, just quiet. But that night was different. By around 6:30, all the buses had left. The parking lot was empty, except for my car. By 7, the janitor headed out. I even watched him leave through the window. And by 8, the whole building was completely empty. Or at least, that's what I thought. I was in the multipurpose room, sitting at one of the long tables, cutting out paper decorations, pumpkins, leaves, that kind of stuff. I had a small radio with me, playing some local station, just background noise. Everything felt normal until 8:47. I remember the time because I looked at the clock right after it happened. The radio just stopped mid-song. No static, no fade, just complete silence. I looked up immediately. It wasn't just the radio. The whole room felt different, like the silence was too heavy all of a sudden. I tapped the radio, thinking maybe the batteries died. That made the most sense. So I got up and stepped out into the hallway to grab some new batteries from the staff lounge. The hallway lights were half off, like they usually are after hours. Some sections were dim, others completely dark, nothing unusual. I started walking, and that's when I heard it. Footsteps behind me, slow, even, matching my pace. I stopped. They stopped. I turned around. No one there. I remember saying hello out loud. I figured maybe the janitor came back for something, or maybe another teacher stayed late without me noticing. But there was no answer. Nothing. So I turned back and kept walking. And then the footsteps came back, same pace as mine. That's when I started to feel scared. I stopped again. Silence. I turned around faster this time. Still nothing. No movement, no shadows, just an empty hallway. I stood there for a few seconds, just listening. Now my heart was beating a little faster, but I told myself it was nothing. Old buildings make noise. Sounds echo. That's all it was. At least, that's what I wanted to believe. Then I got to the staff lounge and grabbed the batteries and went back to the multipurpose room. When I walked in, everything looked normal except the decorations. The paper cutouts I had left neatly stacked on the table were now on the floor, not scattered randomly. They were stretched out like something had dragged them toward the door. I stood there for a second, trying to make sense of it. Maybe this slid off. Maybe I bumped the table earlier. It didn't make sense, but I didn't question it too much. I just picked them up and put them right back. Looking back, I should have left right then, but I didn't. I sat back down and tried to keep working. Then around 9:12, the PA system turned on. No announcement, just static. It was loud, way too loud in an empty building. I froze. Then I heard it, breathing. Coming through the speakers. Slow, wet, like someone was right up against a microphone. I stood up slowly and walked into the hallway, looking up at the speaker mountain near the ceiling. "Hello," I said again. The breathing kept going. Then underneath it, I heard something else. A voice. It sounded like a kid, but I couldn't understand it. It was distorted, warped, like it was being played through something broken. And then it all stopped. Just like that. The system shut off completely. At that point, I wasn't just uncomfortable anymore. I was really scared. I decided to check the main office. If someone was messing with the PA system, that's where they'd have to be. But when I got there, the door was locked, lights off, no sign of anyone inside. There was no way someone was in there. No way. So I turned around to head back, and that's when I heard something from one of the classrooms. A sound, like a desk moving. I stopped right outside the door and listened. It happened again, slow, heavy, dragging across the floor. I don't know why I opened the door. I don't know why, but I opened that door. I really don't, but I did. And when I stepped inside, everything looked normal, except for one desk. At the very back of the room, it was turned around, facing the wall. Every other desk was lined up properly, but that one wasn't. I walked in slowly. The air in the room felt off. There was a smell, damp, stale, like something had been sitting there for a long time. I got closer to the desk, and that's when I saw it, carved into the wood, deep enough to be clear. I'm still here. I felt my stomach drop. It looked fresh, like it had just been carved. I took a step back, and right then, the lights snapped on, bright, harsh. I flinched and looked away for a second. And when I looked back, the desk was normal, facing forward, no carving, nothing at all. That was it for me. I didn't care what was going on. I was done. I turned and walked straight out, heading for the exit. But when I got to the main doors, they were locked. I tried again, harder. Nothing. That's when I remembered. The automatic locks. They activated around 9. I checked the side exit. Also locked. My chest started to tighten, so I went to the office phone, picked it up, did. No dial tone, and then a loud crash from upstairs. like a chair being thrown. I froze. Then came footsteps, running back and forth, fast, too fast. It didn't sound like an adult. I called out, but my voice didn't feel right. It sounded small, weak. No answer. Then from the gym, I heard it. A basketball, bouncing, slow, even, echoing through the hallway. I didn't want to go check, but I did. I walked toward the gym and pushed the door open slightly. It was dark inside, only a little bit of moonlight coming through the high windows. And then I saw it, a basketball rolled across the floor by itself. It slowed down and stopped near the doorway, near me. There was no one there. That's when I stepped back, and the second I did, the gym doors slammed shut behind me, loud enough to make me jump. That's when I ran. I didn't think, I just ran. And as I did, I swear something passed right next to me. I didn't see it, but I felt it. Cold, like walking through ice. I stumbled down the stairs, almost fell, grabbed the railing to catch myself. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. I reached the main doors again, still locked. For a second, I thought I was stuck. And then I remembered the crash bar. I slammed into it. It didn't open right away. That second felt longer than anything. Then it gave. The door opened, and I ran out into the parking lot. Cold air hit me hard. I didn't stop until I got to my car. I got inside, locked the doors, and just sat there, trying to breathe. My hands were shaking. I didn't even start the engine right away. After a minute, maybe more, I looked back at the school. Everything was dark, still, quiet, like nothing ever happened. And then, from inside, I heard it, the same radio, playing music again. For just a few seconds, then it stopped. I never stayed late after that. I don't know what was that. I don't know if it was something left behind, or something that never left at all. But I'm sure about one thing. I wasn't the only one in there that night. If you happen to have stories like this, please share with us in this Gmail.